All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the Micronauts New Voyages issue number 2 from Marvel Comics. Let's continue where we left off in issue number 1. If you want to see what's going on and you're new to this channel, I would suggest check it out on my YouTube channel. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe, like, comment, all that YouTube jazz, right? So we have this Huntarr creature. Well, let me start from the beginning. I can recap everything, but that's not what I'm going to do. Let's say the Micronauts are lost in space, and basically they have, made contact with some kind of a heavenly body. Is that how you say it when something is in space, unidentified? Looks like a meteor, but it's not. It's actually alive. They are here. They are in some kind of an egg chamber, and there is a star outside. And that emanates a lot of radiation, and the radiation is, increasing. So they are basically in danger. But they are explorers as well. And it seems that this Huntarr guy can, morph his body into different kind of things. He's pretty durable, right? And then we see the star outside, putting out more radiation. Well, whatever this thing is has some kind of a feelers, antennas outside absorbing the radiation. And there is also some, defensive mechanisms. It released energy beams to protect the egg chamber, I guess, right? So they want to go. But Huntarr says, there is something about these eggs, something I don't know what, and it seems that communications are lost, and they can only do it with some kind of a mind link, because Microtron and Biotron on the ship, I love this how they do the mind link. I need to remember that for my comic, maybe doing something like that as well. Anyway, by the way, I'm doing a comic. We have already done 3 pages, completely done except for coloring and editing, lettering. You're going to see this year, you see a lot of stuff on my channel relating to the comic that I made. Anyway, it's going to be fun. So Biotron and, picks up the signals almost, barely. And then the heavenly body, Screecher, he says, I feel a mind touch, and from my egg chamber. Poor thing, one of them must have been jarred loose. I must act. My eggs must be safe until the time comes. So he's been poured on some stuff, and he cannot get out. Well, there's some tentacles here, and they need to go out because they are in extreme danger. So, what's his name? Arc. Sorry, I'm not familiar with all these characters. Acro Year. Yes, that's it. I like his design, by the way. So it's pretty robot-y, bulky. He's basically some kind of a knight. And he is so durable that he can block these energy radiation wall. And, the other ones escape to the surface, right? But Tick here. Is it Tick? Bug. All these creatures look sometimes like each other. Anyway, he says, are we leaving our friend behind? Huntarr? He says, well, no, but I'm doing everything, says the commander or the captain. And then we see, of course, beautiful computer screens with stuff on it, unlike modern comics. Buttons, light effects, great, love it. Immersion, I said that a lot. Anyway, so they're doing some kind of a scan and want to know if it's intelligent. Possibly, says Robotron. It probed us and it delayed in deploying its gathering fans, but intelligence is a difficult term. Is it Robotron, by the way? Biotron. Jesus. Anyway, so he says, I want to have a broad spectrum because he wants to, wants to know what it is, right? Poor Huntarr is getting, he's having a bad day. So, it reaches out. He says, hey, can you understand? Can you understand me? But the voice says, poor baby, look at the message genetic code is in. Fortunately, there's nothing there I can be fixed. I wonder what that means, right? So Commander said, is it the commander or the cat? I need to know. Commander Ran says, I must establish contact with the alien mentally. But if there is a mind there, I'm not getting through. More power, Biotron. So he's establishing some kind of a mind link, and he says, we are friends. We mean you no harm. Another mind touch, but not from my egg chambers, as before. What could this wonder be? I must look, see, discover its source. So he's shooting some kind of a beam, and but the beam actually, I believe, hurts them. And he says, let us speak with minds alone because you are hurting them. So, and then we have this shot, making some contact. It says, I have never spoken, but I'm eager to. So they ask, hey, who are you? This place is the universe, and I am the child of the makers, as you must be. Surely you have come here by the design, right? So there's some confusion here, right? She says, we mean you no harm, but we must have the return of one of us. He was down in your egg chamber, and you grabbed him, and he must come back to the surface. Do you understand? Harm? Damage, you mean? By the will? Extraordinary. But you must know that the child's genetic code is a mess. I have been undoing the harm. Is that the concept? So Huntarr says, I can feel things melting, changing. And he says, by the Enigma Force, what am I becoming? Right? And so the voice says, soon I shall journey to the makers, and it would be a pleasure and wonders if you would join me. And then the contact is broken, but Buck here says, I'm not sure this journey to the makers stuff, it sure sounds like a metaphor for dying. Anyway, so the commander says, hey, maybe we can hitch the ride because they are stranded here in this part of the universe, micro-universe that they are unfamiliar with. So they need to get out of here, right? And the teammates have a little bit concerned about that because we don't know where the creature is going, right? Poor Huntarr is being sung to sleep, well, encased in this stuff. And but then the ship is starting to shake. And because, maybe because of the radiation, but the whole surface of that, it's not a planet, but, the creature is starting to rupture and to change. There's tremors, and some of the crust of that alien being is piercing the hull, right? So the commander says, okay, we need to get them out of here, but then we have Acro here saying, no, we are staying. And he tried to convince the commander, that he needs to save Huntarr, right? And after a small squirrel, he says, Arcturus, this is a war no longer. The Endeavor and all of us are not more precious than he is. If we die trying to save our friend, so be it. That is our only choice. And he says, yeah, you're right, old friend. So they are putting some kind of a force field around, but then this is happening. Something comes out of the ground, and it seems that this, shooting some light, more radiation. Shields are holding, right? But they have also some, radiation burns. But then this creature is starting to change into something else, right? It seems that it is getting ready for, a journey, right? And when Micronauts says, Commander, there is something hitting the blast doors. So, and they are being cautious because they don't know what it is, right? And so the girl says, it's something alive. And so the commander says, open doors. And then, oh no, what is this? And they don't know what to do because, it tries to get in. But then it makes a sign, and it's the letter H because it's Huntarr. He says, what happened to you? As soon as I find out myself, I'll tell you. The thing encased me, then released me, looking like this. That's all I know. Oh yes, I brought along one of the eggs from the chamber. I figured it might serve the answer to some of the mysteries. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I mean, I sent many, many movies about alien eggs. So everybody's happy, hugging, and he says, hey, I thought we lost you. Commander, the alien is about to go on its seeding flight to spread its progeny? Yeah. throughout the universe. At least that is what's transmitted to me. So he says, well, I'm trying to raise the mind link, but nothing happens. My guess is that it ceased to be conscious while transforming itself, which was how I was able to get free. But this flight, it could take us anywhere. So they're putting the egg, in some kind of a chamber here, right? And but then we see that the creature is fully transformed. I like this. It looks great. This is truly a journey into mystery, I guess. That's also a good title. What's his name? Acroyear is holding, these things together because they are going. He's basically steering the trajectory beam, and the girl is, doing some kind of a trajectory computer program. Again, looks great. And then, they are going, right? And so this guy's barely can holding on because, tractor beams and breaking free and all that stuff. So the voice says, I am delighted to have you along my journey, friends. It has been too short of time since I learned of the existence of being other than myself and the makers. So, friends, who are the makers? But he gets a little bit of a vague answer that the maker created the universe and the bodies, right? And me and you. But then she says, who are you? What star is yours? How many times have you circled it? How do you fashion your offspring? There is little time, and I wish to know. So, this bodily thing or this alien thinks that the humans probably are the same as it, which is of course not the case, because this creature cannot have the concept that, this is not a, floating body floating around some kind of a planet like a sun or a moon, right? And so the girl talks to Arcturus, but Arcturus is some kind of a trance, right? And he apologizes not responding any quicker, but he has some concerns. He says, I was so caught up in the thought process, but it kept talking about so little time. Gods of homeworld is just like before. The alien is bleeding off power. It's decreasing its drives, which means that it's tachyon space. It's speeding up. Of course, says the voice. We journey to the makers, and by going to zero energy, we attain infinite velocity, which puts us everywhere at once, and then we can touch the maker and all their work. My ex must go to seek mortal life amongst the stars, but we shall soon be beyond all that. The cycle of life shall be broken, and it shall be complete. Oh man. I knew it wants to commit suicide and take us with us as well. No thanks. But the tractors are jammed. I can budge them. It's speeding up, and everything breaks apart here. There's an overload. So the commander says, my friend, are you going to die? End yourself. Oh yeah, so it says, a profound thought. Through my ex, life will go on, yet I'll be soon more than life. That, as I understand you, is death. But is it an end? We shall soon know. Commander says, no. The thing out there may choose the mystery of death, but we are going to live. We got to get some power into the drives and break loose, but how? So suddenly he has this grand idea that now that the eggs are ejected outside of the velocity speed, it drops down into normal space and see the universe. So they must have enough power contained in them to break through it. And if we tap into it, they're going to use the eggs, right? Not sure how they're going to do it, but it seems that Huntarr transformed has some kind of a connection because he was in the egg chamber, and he is more like a conduit, siphon off or using its power into the, memory banks or, into the drives, right? And then breaking free, and there he goes into infinity. Now we see whether we share his fate. Biotron cut the drives. And I love it that then everything is just black, and then light comes on and they are in normal space again. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that transition from hyperspace, if you can call it that, and then to full stop. And then, we see stars and planets and suns again. That's great. It looks Looks really great. It seems that the commander has some existential crisis. Well, not so much, but he says, I was thinking about our friend. Has he in fact now met the mystery face to face? There was a time I would gladly join him. Now, however, I stand on one side and wonder. He spoke as he has said these. Have he met these makers face to face? Could such gods walk the universe physically? And then the last thing we see that Biotron and Microtron wants to tell the crew that they are dying because of radiation, but they cannot bring themselves to it right now. And the process is irreversible. Wow. And that goes into the next issue, guys. What? I don't want to know. Yeah, and that brings us to the end of the video. Guys, let me know if you want to see more of this, because I'm not going to do an ongoing series with Micronauts, because I have a couple of ongoing, sort of ongoing series, and that's not how my channel is built, I think. But if you want to see more, if it gets enough likes and views, I will continue. Leave a comment below and let me know. See you next time. Bye-bye.